Chapter 2 Godzilla Tokyo SOS, the direct follow-up to Godzilla against Mechagodzilla. Released in 2003, it was about time the Millennium series had a film that ties directly right into the previous film. Against Mechagodzilla was unique in a sense due to the fact that not only did it reference the original Godzilla, but the original Mothra film. A little disclaimer. For the first time ever, before I went ahead and recorded this review, I did go back and watch the original Mothra. For the very first time. In due time, I will have a review up for that film. However though, we're going to keep things central on this movie for now, but in due time expect Mothra, the original Mothra movie, to surface on my channel or review and as I see it. But I needed to see that film to gather full context of the story, an idea of the original Mothra, to understand how it ties to this film. Tokyo SOS. While it is a direct sequel to the last film, it decides to go ahead and keep the primary focus on Mechagodzilla, or Kiryu, rather than following the central characters we saw in the last film. But it's done in the name of furthering the relationship between Kiryu and the Godzilla that appeared in 1999. With that said though, our key character Akane does not take the main character role, however she does make an appearance in this film that is a core aspect to this very film. With that said though, we are following a brand new character by the name of Chujo, who is simply a ground crew mechanic that prides himself on being part of the Kiryu project in the first place. Now Chujo, initially he seems to lack the understanding for Kiryu that Akane began to understand by the end of her battle with Godzilla in the events of the last film. Supporting characters also include Chujo's uncle, Shinichi Chujo, who is also played by longtime classic actor Hiroshi Koizumi. Now the thing that I adore about this is the fact that he reprises the exact same role and character that he played in the 1961 film Mothra, which helps bring these films together closer, rather than just simply recasting the character. Not to mention, we've already also connected the original Mothra film just based on a reference in Godzilla against Mechagodzilla. It just helps make this film more authentic. The movie opens up with the pursuit of a UFO, but rather than going down the route of aliens again for the second time, we're introduced to Mothra in this era. He's pretty well a character that's unchanged as always. You know, Earth's peacekeeper, the defender of Earth. However, the introduction of Mothra in this film makes the story even deeper with Kiryu. Godzilla 1954 was a restless soul, disturbed to create a superweapon just to fight the new Godzilla. It doesn't take long, but eventually Mothra's twins condemn man's actions, requesting that man drop the project and return the bones to the sea, or a war will be declared on mankind. But this is much easier said than done. I mean, Mechagodzilla, or Kiryu, is the most creditable weapon that mankind's created that doesn't involve remaking the Oxygen Destroyer.
So what you're saying is, we should stop the project.
Man made nuclear weapons which brought Godzilla back, and that was a mistake.
And it has been repaired, even after the grueling fight with Godzilla. Plus, add on the fact that this movie drives home the fact, the what if a new hypothetical monster arises. One thing that I really love in this film is the fact that yes, Kiryu is operational and has been repaired in years' time since the last battle, but it's missing a key aspect that was stressed as a weapon to defeat Godzilla, absolute zero, which is unfortunately not happening this time around. This is explained in this film that it's cost issues, but more importantly, Japan is fighting against time. Godzilla could resurface at any time, any day, anywhere, so it is an issue. So we're gonna go ahead and equip Mechagodzilla with something new, a triple hyper maser cannon. I mentioned time. Well, it's not on their side because the carcass of a dead Kamibus has washed ashore. Poor buddy ends up getting a movie, his first role in about 30 years, and this is how he gets treated, just bodied off screen. This is yet another Toho kaiju that was kind of obscure, but appeared in Space Amoeba, which was kind of interesting to see this movie even referenced, given the fact that humans seem to have an idea of what it is once they see it. At this point in this movie, even though Godzilla hasn't been seen exactly yet, it's game on. If you're one of those viewers that just wants to see kaiju go into war, well, most of this movie is simply just that. Add on the fact this movie is just seasoned a little bit more to give it a little bit more taste, with a nice reference and nod to the last time Godzilla fought two Mothra larvae. Now on my end, dare I say I enjoy the battle sequences in this film a bit more than against Mechagodzilla. It's a film that I can't take my eyes off the screen when I go ahead and watch it. Never at any point does Godzilla really look weak. Well, I guess until the end, that is. But this takes a moment to remind us of the elephant in the room. If you saw the last film, you remember the iconic Mechagodzilla rampage sequence calling back to his past life. As a viewer, you spent a majority of this movie thinking, is man really in control? Only for the first time, Godzilla's opposing force, sympathizes for him and understands him in return. The inner spirit wants everything to end. Mothra's life has been lost. The twins, the larva, want peace. Humankind, questioning their actions, they know what they must do. Destroy Kiryu, hope for a new day, move forward, and hope that no new kaiju emerges. The ending sequence just strikes me as a fan. It reminds me of how far this Mechagodzilla has came. Everything here is more than machine. A restless, tortured soul from the past exists only because of man's error. And it knows that this Godzilla is the subject of humans' error, and they haven't learned nearly 50 years later. Mechagodzilla ends it all, returning himself to the sea. Godzilla to the bottom of the sea, closing out this film. But this isn't where things really end. If you keep on watching beyond the credits, you'll probably find what I consider to be the most intriguing non-MonsterVerse post-credit sequence in the Godzilla universe. As we wrap up the film, we're shown a lab which holds Godzilla cells extracted in 1999, which show there may have been an attempt to clone the original Godzilla, or create something that possibly would have been brand new, a living organism. Hint, maybe a Millennium Biollante was planned, Space Godzilla. We'll never know at this point. But again, I've never read any clarity that points to a planned third film in the Kiryu saga. But aside all that though, part of me does kind of wonder, was this meant to simply illustrate that no matter what happens, no matter what humans are faced with, we never learn from our mistakes? Maybe it's not worth reading too much into, but it's fun to have fan theories at the same time. No matter though, the ultimate moral of the Godzilla series is that often certain intentions end up creating the worst imaginable things. I think Dr. Grant talked about this once.
Some of the worst things imaginable have been done with the best intentions.
While it's on my mind, if you're asking, do I have to watch the original Mothra to understand this film? Well, yes, but actually no. What I'm saying is I endorse the original Mothra by default. This movie will explain why there's a vendetta against Mothra despite her benevolent intentions, as clearly both SOS and Against Mechagodzilla touch on. But still I add the no, because really this is an easy film to jump into even if you know bare minimal knowledge about Mothra, and have only subjected yourself to the Godzilla films. Still I insist that you check into all 4 films ultimately. Overall, Tokyo SOS is a fantastic film. Every time I watch it, it has me longing for more, a direct sequel to it. It's just my preference of the tone the story that tells it combines the powerful message, epic presentation of Kiryu, and finally epic battle sequences that live rent-free in my head. Unfortunately, there were other plans in place when Toho saw the declining numbers at the box office since GMK released, and it was time to basically put the Godzilla series away. Ultimately, this all led to Godzilla Final Wars, closing out 50 years of a unique time frame for Godzilla films. So get ready, because in the next film, I'm going to layer and stack some mixed opinions on the next film, so I'm just kind of warning you in advance if you do like that film, but I'm still going to walk the neutral line. That's all I'm saying for now. Thanks for joining me, like, subscribe, and check out the Glenn Destruction Instagram page for more fun. Oh, and stay tuned, because guess what, I do have a special edition review coming up, Independence Day, so look out for that if you were into that movie. That said, you have a nice day.